I'll do this one. Warum? Weshalb? Warum? Weshalb? Pöbeln deutsche Beamte. Zentralheizung, Fenstermiete, Rundfunkgebühren. Trotz Zentralheizung pöbeln Fenster. Trotz Zentralheizung pöbeln Fenster. Rundfunkgebühren, magisches Räumer. Ratenzahlen, Kapital, Trance, Polizei, Chaoten, Trance, Räume, Zentral, Geheiz, Kapital, Polizei, Trance. Trotz Zement pubertieren Fahrstühle. Trotz Zement pubertieren Fahrstühle. Warum? Weshalb? I could do one more if you like.
Yeah, one more, and then we could get,
yeah,
I
just
have
one short more might fit in.
questions noted here.
Because
yeah.
that's a poem about a word that doesn't mean anything. Agaong.
Ah, the agaong piece, yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Agaong. 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 Agong, 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 ekgong, 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 oging, 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 sigong, 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 oging, 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 sigong, 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 agongs, 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 onging, 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 kaken o kaken aken ongaken ga kaken o kaken aken ongaken ga ga kaken gang ga gang gang rong rong ake ong rong rong ake ong agongs.
Great. So thank you. Yeah, I have noted some questions which came to my mind while you were performing, Dirk. Of course, that was great as usual. But like just to explain what everybody could actually notice, that you are working not only with your voice, but the words are also connected to gestures.
Yes.
So while you're developing a poem and you rehearse, perform it, these gestures come to your mind, and how are they connected to the piece of work?
Well, it seems like they just come out naturally. I'm not rehearsing them, and it's just well, the poems, they have a certain rhythm, definitely, and for me the poems are something physical too. Mm-hmm. They have a well, if I speak them, well, they have a power in my body. I can feel them in my head, the vibration and everything, and so it triggers these movements somehow. Mm-hmm. And I have no idea what I'm doing really. Well, yeah. Of course, sometimes I do the same thing again, because well, it started out like this, and I'm repeating it then afterwards. Mm-hmm. But originally, they were not planned in any form.
Something what comes to my mind is like, I mean, actually, well, while you're performing, you're so very much involved. I mean, what is happening in your head while you're doing? I mean, these are really complicated things. Where are you, actually?
I think my head is virtually empty in this moment.
Yeah.
I don't think about anything. It's just happening. I mean, that's an ideal state for me, to be on stage and well, I'm virtually empty.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, some other people say that too, that things are just flow through them. Mm. And well, of course it comes out of myself, but I have a little bit this feeling that yeah, these words just flow through me somehow, from somewhere, maybe from my feet, or I don't know. But it's really something that goes very, very deep, and I think it even has a psychological impact too.
And the mystical, I think, too.
Yes, yes, of course, yeah.
It's
yeah,
very,
yeah.
all this stuff is quite closely connected to, like a bit like shamanistic speeches, you know, the power of words to, you know, because another thing, like in the first piece, you were using this special deep voice, and everybody in this room could actually feel some sort of vibration coming, you know, coming from you. So you have trained your voice in different techniques, haven't you, to be able to utter certain sounds, didn't you?
Well, trained is saying too much, really. I'm not a trained vocalist anyway. Even though now I'm trying to get some lessons in singing to improve my voice a little bit. But of course, I tried out. I just listened to what other people do, and there are certain people working with their voice that interest me a lot, like Sanko Namchilak, you maybe know, Tuvenian singer.
Tuven, yeah, Tuva,
well,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's,
but she's doing modern.
They do these strange things with their...
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm far from that, but also Jaap Blanc, the Dutch poet, he has a lot of interesting techniques, and so I'm just trying to listen what other people do, and then I try to do it. Yes, I can see what is possible and what is not possible.
And how do you see, like, if we come back to the words, like you said, your last performance, it's just words, it doesn't mean anything. Which is, in a way, of course, you were talking about you make people laugh, or people just laugh. Maybe they just laugh because they do not know what they are just now encountering. But there's a relationship to nonsense in your poetry as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a relationship to nonsense, but what is nonsense really?
Yeah.
Well, for me it's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe some of the things might seem funny, but actually I think I'm quite serious about even the funny things, even though I really think it's funny sometimes, but I think it has both. It really has the very serious thing, and at least recently I was facing a lot of problems, like quite a few people died, I know, and so these were really serious things and serious matters. Now I could feel that my poetry was getting darker with that too.
In aura or in...
Yes, the aura, but that doesn't mean that people won't laugh about it too.
Yeah.
So that's still possible, and of course humor is something you always need, and to get across these things, and it's good to have, or important to have both, and sometimes really both in one.
In one word.
In one word, maybe,
one
yes.
Word. And then your more recent performances, when you use these electronical sampling devices, I know some of them, and I saw something like a development, because the pieces you were doing now were some sort, say, a bit, former pieces, say, old-fashioned in a way, because now you're working with these electronic devices. And then I thought that the more you use actually these electronic devices, the more you atomize the language. So I had actually the impression of you atomizing language into, well, nearly, it's to divide it into electrons and positrons, so the language is really, it's just broken into shutters. And I was asking myself, because this makes it maybe sometimes hard for people to understand, but would this procedure of, I call it atomizing the language, would this rather express a doubt in language or a belief in language?
That's a good question, and I can't answer it really. Well, basically I would say I come from the point of doubt of language.
Yeah.
I always had trouble with language, to understand things and to understand people around me. And but on the other hand, what I learned with also doing nonsense poetry is it's very hard to do nonsense, because people will always try to get a sense out of it. No matter how nonsensical you are, people will try to interpret what you do and find something in it. And so it's really hard to do something that doesn't make any sense.
True.
It's well, it's not even impossible.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.